হ্যালো মহুয়া। হ্যালো। হ্যালো প্রেরণা। হ্যালো। হ্যালো। হ্যালো ইন্দ্রিলা। হ্যালো।
হ্যালো
হ্যালো।
শর্মিষ্ঠি,
হ্যাঁ
শর্মিষ্ঠি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, শুনতে পাচ্ছিস তো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শর্মিষ্ঠি, ইউ আর অডিবল।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
ওকে ওকে।
মহুয়া,
হ্যাঁ শর্মিষ্ঠা দি।
বলছি কি তুই একটু ডেমো হিসেবে একটা কোয়েশ্চেন পাঠা, একটুখানি আমি এটা করতে চাইছি সরগরম।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, এই চ্যাট বক্সে তো।
হ্যাঁ 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 হ্যাঁ
তুমি দেখো, আমি জাস্ট একটা এই লিখছি।
হ্যাঁ 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 হ্যাঁ
আমি একটা হাই পাঠাচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
শর্মিষ্ঠা দি,
বলছি কি তুই হ্যাঁ, আর এর রেসপন্স আমারটা শোনা যাচ্ছে তো? আমার কথাটা এর রেসপন্সে হাই?
হ্যাঁ সব শোনা যাচ্ছে।
ঠিক আছে,
তুমি
থ্যাংক
দেখতে
ইউ।
পেলে চ্যাট বক্সে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, চ্যাট
হ্যাঁ
বক্সে দেখলাম, হ্যাঁ।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে।
হ্যালো, 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 হ্যালো মোমো ম্যাম।
হ্যাঁ
হ্যালো,
অরবিন্দ জি।
হ্যাঁ একটু ভিডিওটা অন করুন না আপনাদের, তাহলে বোঝা যাবে যে এই আপনার লাইভে ঠিকঠাক আসছে কিনা।
হ্যাঁ লিংক, হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা 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 ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। অরবিন্দ জি, ইজ ইট ওকে?
বিকজ হ্যাঁ দাঁড়ান ম্যাম, এই কারণ যে লাইভটা একটু 2 মিনিট 5 মিনিট লেট হয়। এখনো এখনো আসেনি, দেখি আমি।
হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ শ্রীমতী দি।
হ্যাঁ দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ দেখা যাচ্ছে গো, দেখা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
না রে, একটা ঘন্টা, হ্যাঁ।
আবার বলছেন?
শ্রীমতী দি,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ বলো।
শ্রীমতী দি, তোমার না স্ক্রিনটা ঘুরে গেছে গো, মানে আগেরটা
আচ্ছা।
ঠিক ছিল।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ। Nivedita di, Shomasri di, I would like to ask for your permission. Can we start the program? It is almost past time.
Yes, you start.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. A very good afternoon to all. On behalf of the Psychological Counseling Cell, Lady Brabourne College, I extend a warm welcome to our respected speaker, Dr. Srimati Bishash, our respected TCS Madam, Dr. Shomasri Roy Chaudhary, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Lady Brabourne College, and last but not the least, our dear students. We all know that a healthy life is the key to peace and happiness. Perfect health in this regard encompasses not only the well-being of the body, but also the mind. In fact, the synergy between mind and body is a necessity for the ideal working and holistic development of the individual. But modern life today, with its package of stress-related disorders, trauma, and mental setback, has ushered in challenges where preservation of mental health becomes a challenge. The only ray of hope in such situations is counseling. Keeping in mind the mental well-being of our students, the Psychological Counseling Cell, Lady Brabourne College today has organized a talk on the importance of counseling in our lives today. And the talk will be delivered by our very own official counselor, Dr. Srimati Bishash. But before moving ahead with the program, I would humbly request our TCS Madam to say a few words on this occasion.
Thank you, Mahua, for giving me the opportunity. Let me speak. I was not very prepared, but still I know that counseling is required. That is why Lady Brabourne College has started their counseling cell 3-4 years back, before pandemic. Today's world of competition and continuous presence of social media, today's generations, today's students are more vulnerable to outside chatter. Students struggle with several issues such as anxiety, self-esteem issues, trouble with forming friendship, etc. So there arises a possibility where today's children feel isolated and not in a position to confide to their near and dear ones, even their parents. In such a situation, they need a guidance. They need a help from the outside world. It's professional help they require. Last 2 years, we faced a pandemic. And during the pandemic, the issues of mental health have become more important among the students. As schools and colleges were shut down for a long period of time, students were isolated, which caused even more negative impact on their mental health. when colleges reopened, students need help to adapt to a new normal, hybrid, online, offline exams, everything. So counselors can give them that help in improving emotional intelligence. They will guide them about the basic issues students face today at any point in time, such as exam pressures, bullying, etc. So Lady Brabourne College has started this counselor says that this counselor cell has organized twice a week, isn't it, Mahua? Twice a week. And Dr.
Yes,
Smriti
yes, Shomastri.
always gave them that counseling. So Lady Brabourne College appointed Dr. Srimati Vishwas in this regard. Today's session is another such attempt in this regard. I welcome Dr. Srimati Vishwas to deliver her talk and fulfill the demand of the current students.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mohua, for giving me the opportunity. Today, I would like to share whatever little understanding I have regarding counseling and how it can help us to come out of the emotional disturbances that we face in our lives, to have greater understanding about our inner world, to counseling is a talking therapy, but it is not just a talk. It is counseling involves a lot of self-exploration, a lot of understanding, a lot of self-observation. In counseling, we during the course of the session, we cover a journey, a mental journey, an emotional journey. During the course of the session, we actually follow certain conditions that whatever the counselor is saying, that will be kept confidential. Second is, like, we are non-judgmental. We don't judge people. The person is accepted with all his strengths and weaknesses. So this is called unconditional acceptance. And when counseling, the therapy is going on for a certain period of time, eventually we try to analyze the dreams. In dream analysis, like in counseling, the counselor tries to reach the unconscious of the counseling. There are several needs, desires, conflicts, complexes, and sometimes all these things, they get messed up. Some desires are fulfilled, some desires are yet to be fulfilled, are unfulfilled. When the desires are unfulfilled, we have pain, we become sad sometimes. So all these things sometimes create a mess in our minds, and we get confused. We do not know what to do, what not to do, how to proceed now, how to make a decision. So counseling will give us greater understanding and greater insight into our inner wishes, inner well-being, and then we will be able to make better choices. And we know that life is a series of choices. So when we make better choices, life will be smoother. We will have an easier life. So basically, in counseling, what we do, we actually try to explore ourselves. We try to observe our inner mind. And during this self-exploration, where we are trying to find out, why do I like this and why I do not like this? These are mainly the basic things that we try to find out the answers. During self-exploration, one thing is kept in mind, that we will try to find out the answers of why. Why do I do this? And why do I feel like this? Why do I act? Why did I behave that way? Why do I think this way? These are the questions, and we try to find out the answers. And sometimes we actually become surprised by finding out the answer. Oh, this is there in my mind. I think this way. I like this thing. I didn't have any idea about this. I never had any idea about this. So basically, counseling through self-observation, we introspect, we observe ourselves. We come to know a lot about our inner mind. In counseling, while doing this self-exploration, we try to find out the dynamics, the psychodynamics, that is the dynamics, psychological dynamics of the mind. Psychodynamics means it means that there are several interplay of several emotional and psychological forces and processes. They are continuously at work in our mind. When we try to explore ourselves, our desires, our needs, our wishes, why do I get tensed? Why do I feel this way? Why do I get scared after seeing that? These anxiety, fear, tensions, worries, these things. When we try to find out the answers, we'll come to know that there are several forces at work in our mind. And this will eventually give us a much, much, much better understanding about our inner mind, about the functioning of the inner mind. In today's world, we are bound to face stress. So many stresses are there. Competition, competition for work, competition for job, competition for everything. So during this stress, when we are facing this stress, we cannot allow stress to affect us for a long period, because long-term stress is not good for our well-being, for our physical well-being or for our mental well-being. Eventually, if we burn the candle from both ends, it will exhaust. So whenever we start to face stress, we feel stressed out, we need to, it is advisable that we should seek professional help, or it can happen on a personal level too. If someone is there who is trustworthy, who can guide you, who have mm, who have a little bit of knowledge in the functioning of the mind, can understand mind, that person is in a position to help you during that course of time, so that you can come out of the stress, you can come out of the emotional distress, emotional disturbances, and will be able to enjoy life in a much better way, in a like will have a happier life. So these are the things that we discussed during the course of the counseling sessions. And stress, what stress can do to us? Stress can affect our body and mind in a in in a negative way, and like it can affect our body, both our body and mind. Our heart rate can get increased, BP can get increased. It can affect our respiratory system, it can affect our brain, it can affect our hormonal secretion. So and it can affect our feelings too. So whenever we do counseling, we try to focus on the thought process, because thought process helps us. Thought process, we what I think, I like to feel that way. Thought process can affect our feelings too. So if we can correct our thought process, if we can bring a change to that thought process, eventually our feelings, our emotions, the way we feel, the way we think, that will also get changed. And it helps us. During the course of the counseling, we do that. We do that because one kind of thinking, one kind of thought process that gives rise to billions of neural pathways in our brains. And when we work on that thought process, we try to be like more logical, more rational, try to find out the truth of the situation, try to view the situation from a different perspective, from a different angle, then we will start thinking in a different way, and that will construct several different other neural pathways in our brain. In this way, same thing that used to trigger one line of thought in my mind will eventually lose its power to trigger that kind of thought, because by working on the thought process we try to break the association between the trigger and the thought. Trigger will be there. Trigger will be there. We cannot change the outside situation. We cannot change the environment, but we can change ourselves. When we are working on the thought process, same trigger will be there, but it will lose its power. And I will be able to see the situation from a different perspective. Counseling is like empowering myself from within. I will be able to stay calm and poised. I will be able to to face the situation, to face the crisis with a balanced mind. And the thing is that one thing is said in Sanskrit, that is, after we go on working on this thought process, eventually person can reach a state of equanimity. That is, a saying is there in Sanskrit, Dukheshu anudvignomana and Sukheshu vigato spriha. That means staying calm and indifferent in both happiness and sorrow. And it is actually possible to attain that state in our lives. And for this, we need to go through the psychodynamics. One of my professors told me that while doing the session, do not try to put a label on the emotional disturbance that the counselor is facing. You do not try to diagnose it, because that is not your job. Try to go through the psychodynamics, because ultimately we will work on that. Diagnosis is for psychiatrists, and for counselors it is psychodynamics. So I actually try to go through the psychodynamics. Psychodynamics, I told you, interplay of several psychological, emotional forces. Psychodynamics gives us an idea of the inner world. So whenever we are dealing with the psychodynamics, it gives us about why and how I will react in a certain way if I come to face this kind of a situation. And after several sessions, actually the counselor is much better prepared to face the situation if it ever comes in his or her life. This thing, counseling, so basically in counseling, we eventually the counselor will try to make the person self-reliant. That she will try to make the person independent. She should not depend on the counselor. This should not happen to. So ultimately empowering the person so that she will be able to face the situation on her own in future. This is the basic of the counseling. The counselor should do this all the time. This is a line is there which says apodiko bhava, means be your own light. Whenever we go through the psychodynamics, whenever we go through the inner world of ourselves, then we come to know, then we have greater clarity, greater understanding of the functioning of the mind. when we actually have greater control over our mind. We will not get angry, with, which I used to get in past. The intensity will decrease. I will not feel that fearful anymore. I will not be that sad anymore. This is the and what we actually see after a number of sessions. Actually, when we can reach that part of the mind, it is ultimately a wonderful place. A wonderful place of the place is there in our mind, which we will be able to reach after a number of sessions if we actually can practice counseling regularly, even if it is for 15 minutes. Can practice not counseling, self-observation, introspection for 15 minutes every day. It can help us a lot. While facing the stress, several stress management techniques are also there. Mm, One is to self-observation. Second, we can do breathing exercise, deeply inhaling and exhaling. Third, we can write down the emotions in a journal. Daily journal writing is a wonderful technique because I am giving outlet to my inner emotions, which I have kept repressed, maybe for months, for years. During the course of the session, we see that a person is sometimes I am afraid to discuss about my past incidents. It still haunts me. This is still unpleasant to me. So this is a proof that those feelings, those emotions are so alive in my mind, and I have kept them buried. And from time to time, it will get triggered. Maybe by some triggers. Maybe I have seen something on television. Maybe I have read something in newspaper, and it will work. It will work as a trigger, and I will eventually start feeling restless, disturbed, in distress. What counseling do? Counseling actually works on those emotions, on those feelings, and will eventually try to resolve the conflict that is associated with that incident. And eventually, I will be able to come out of my conflicts. I will be able to come out of my sufferings. So, stress, conflicts, these things will be there, but it is not necessary that I will have to face the suffering. Stress is inevitable, but suffering is not. Suffering, we can choose not to suffer. If I actually uh, can go through these processes, uh, eventually a point will come when I will be able to live my life, to lead my life in a much, much better way. Stress-free life is not possible. That is not possible. That is impractical. But it can happen that I am feeling less stress in my life. These things will be like after the counseling sessions, counseling will have these experiences. And what we actually did during the course of the sessions, um, sometimes counseling counseling asks for tips, suggestions. Yeah, tips, suggestions will be there. But though it is a talking therapy, it is not just a talk. A lot of self-exploration is involved. A lot of self-observation is involved. And that will eventually help me to be a better person qualitatively after a point of time. I will be able to cultivate those human qualities in my life. I will be able to um, reach my reach my ideal self. Always there is a gap between my ideal self and my real self. And uh, when the gap is wider, we feel sad. So counseling helps us to come closer to the ideal self. And actually, when we can come closer to the ideal self, it will eventually make me a happier person. Counseling helps us to have that power to, the power is already there, to feel that power which is already there in me, and empower me to face the situation, the crisis of the life in a more stable way. So these are the things that we actually um, do during the sessions. Like we say, na, a lot can happen over a cup of coffee. Like that, a lot will happen. A lot can happen during the course of the sessions. We unmask ourselves. We see the unfiltered part of the self. And unfiltered part of the self, people are sometimes like they don't want to face, but it is actually after a point. There is a beautiful side of myself. There is a wonderful part of myself. If we can actually see that part of the self, it is a bliss. It will be a blissful experience, and we will able to feel that out of the world experience during the course of a lifetime. Counseling helps us to have better understanding of the life. It will teach us to the art of living, how to live our lives. I read somewhere the great poet Rabindranath Tagore once said before his death that when I have learned the way to live a life, I will have to leave this world. So this is called art of living. If we can learn the art, we can skill ourselves in that art. Life is actually a wonderful experience where it will be a personal journey to our personal growth. We will evolve as an individual. We will we will be able to make ourselves better individuals, which we always try to but don't know how to do. So counseling actually, it is not just a talk. It actually involves going deeper into the self layer, exploring, discovering myself layer by layer. And at the deepest layer, there are so many things, so many things, so many truths that will actually eventually empower me to face the situation, to face the life, to lead the life in a much better way, in a more effective way, and um, we will be able to face the life crisis in a more stable way. So, and one thing is that after I explore myself, then with more clarity and understanding, mm, people can face the different situations of their life in a more um, calm and poised way. It, he will feel more self-confident, and he will be less disturbed by different situations of the life. Um, so with increased understanding, there will be more and more wisdom, more and more enlightenment, and um, it will life will be much easier after this. So basically, this thing, whatever counseling that is my actually whatever little understanding, my perspective, and that I today I liked to share with all of you. And now this is counseling in a nutshell, I can say. Now I would like to stop here, and if you have any like query, I would like to answer you as much as possible. So this is it. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Srimati, for such an enlightening discussion on what counseling is actually and how we can benefit through counseling. It was really good to know that the entire journey of counseling is such that ultimately, we get to know our true selves. So I'm sure all of us present here today have benefited immensely from your talk on the importance of counseling in our life today. And dear students, I would like to add here that, as Shumastribi has rightly pointed out, that our psychological counseling cell of Lady Brabourne College had started way back in the year 2011. And it is still continuing successfully in our college. So every Monday and Saturday, we have our online counseling sessions, which is of course conducted by Dr. Srimati Vishash. And the timings of the sessions, I would just like to notify you about the timings. It is from 3:30 to 5:30 every Saturday and Monday. Okay, so in case you feel the need for counseling, we are always there for you. You have to reach out to us for booking for an appointment, and the details are all given in the website. The number is shared in the website, so in our college website, so you can go through the college website and reach out to us in case you need our help. And now, girls, if you have any question in your mind that you would like Dr. Bishash to answer, kindly put your questions down. I find Triporna. Yes. Shormishta Di, I would like to hand over the platform to Shormishta, Shormishta Shane for conducting the question answer session. Shormishta Di,
Yes.
Triporna has a question. I'll just hand over the platform to you.
Thank you, Mohua. It was really a very thought-provoking session, and it is quite expected that participants will have some questions. Now I see that Triporna Lashkar has asked a question. Her query is how can we deal with a panic, deal with a case of prolonged panic attack.
Okay, in case of panic attacks, it has been often found out that an element of aggression is involved in it. Possibly the person is suffering for a long period in her life, maybe has been abused, maybe has been under mental pressure due to one of the other reasons. So during the course of the session, we talk about those aggression, we talk about those sufferings, we talk about those abuses, and how does she feel, how did she used to feel, and how does she feel now, how has she coped up with the problem. So this way we talk on the aggression, and after a point it is seen that the panic attack has been lessened, and sometimes it can be said that she is not undergoing any kind of attack. Attack has stopped according in her life.
Ma'am, I have a question. Um, Often we find that students who are very young are acting in a bizarre way, which calls for a psychological counseling. But do you think the counseling of the parents is equally important in these cases?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Parents should also get involved in it because, like I said in the previous question only, she has been subject to abuse for a long period of time, maybe for last 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. So here and sometimes parents are unknowingly doing this. She, the parents actually do know that we are being a little harsh here, but they sometimes they don't have the idea that how what impact it can have on the counselor's mind, on his or her child's mind. So to include the parents in the therapy, it is advisable and we often do.
Thank you, ma'am. Girls, any more questions? Hoimonti Ghosh has raised a question that how can we prevent disturbances? How can we achieve mental calm?
We can achieve mental stability, that state of balance, actually by going through our own emotions, through our own behaviors, through our own thoughts, and through our own feelings. Asking myself the question all the time, if we can actually do that, that is a wonderful thing actually. Why? The question why. Why is it bothering me? Why do I like that person? Why I don't like that person? My likes and my dislikes, questioning myself all the time and be try to be as honest as possible with myself. Counseling is nothing but truth. Here we deal only with the truth. And when I am that honest with myself, and when I am that truthful with myself, I will have the answer. All the answers are there in my mind only. All the answers of my life are there in my mind only. I will just have to find out through introspection. Introspection means asking myself the question why. And if I can actually have the proper answer, the accurate answer, then it will eventually give me the direction what I should do next in my life. So this
Ma'am,
way we can achieve. Yes.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, Ankita Datta, she asks a question that how to cope with ADHD.
ADHD means attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It actually mind becomes restless and it acts on like it is always disturbed and restless. Attention span is low. So the same thing, asking that person to be try to be self-observing, to try to be mindful, and to try to write down his or her feelings in the diary. Try to follow breathing exercises, relaxation exercises. This thing will eventually help that person to calm down, to be less restless.
Ma'am, the Prerana Dasgupta has one question. She asks that what's the difference between panic attack and anxiety attack?
Anxiety attack, panic attack means it is becoming terrible for me. It has become terrible for me, and there is a very fine line actually between these two kinds of attacks. Panic attack means I am actually feeling like my heart is beating, like I will have a kind of feeling like I will suffer a heart attack now. My hands and feet are sweating too much. palpitations are there, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling clueless. Whereas anxiety attacks, they happen on a lesser degree. Panic attacks, they are more intense. Anxiety attacks, they are less intense. Or the
Um,
degree, difference or degree.
Ma'am, Falak Bhutani, she has rather a long question. That is, she has a craving for, or she has known someone for a craving for ice cubes and chewing it. Is there any psychological reason behind this?
Uh, I would like to say here that psychodynamics says that nothing happens without a reason. Everything that we do does have a reason, and it points out to some one or the other needs, some one or the other psychological need of mind. So, what pleasure she is getting, what kind of pleasure the person is getting from chewing the ice cube, we will have to try to explore that. And through the answers, we might reach a point when we will come to know what factors are actually playing behind this. And one thing we should keep in mind that sometimes a cigar is a cigar. We do not have the need to analyze each and every behavior of myself. The behaviors, the thoughts, the actions that are creating problem in my day-to-day living, we will try to concentrate on those. For the time, that is enough. So this way, after talking to the person, we'll be able to discriminate what to pick up and what to let go. Because some things are there which do not actually need any kind of counseling or therapy. It is simply there. So this way we will have to find out after talking to the person.
Ma'am, Nargis Khatun, she asks that how can she stop overthinking about everything?
Overthinking, if it is combined with anxiety and worries, then possibly uh, one kind of negativity is working in the mind. We'll have to find out the negative overthinking involves negative thinking, then we'll have to uh, work on that negativity. Negative thinking means negativity is at play. Negative forces are working within me. So we have to concentrate on the negative thoughts. And negative thoughts means sometimes they are destructive and an element of aggression is also involved. We'll have to work on those issues. Then only we'll see eventually that my negative thinking, and one thing she can do if she doesn't want to go to the counseling session on her own, she can do one thing on her own, that she can write down the feelings in the journal. It might help her to some extent. If the problem gets solved by this, then it is okay. If problem does not get solved by this, then she possibly will need some counseling sessions.
Any more questions, girl?
Ma'am, I Megha Dash, I want to share my feeling.
Yes.
I have
Go
no
ahead.
queries, but I want to share my feeling.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am, I have faced a lot of stress in my mind, especially during the last 2 years. So I want to share that everybody should need for counseling if they face any kind of stress or any kind of negativity in their mind, so that they can definitely benefited by counseling. That I am suffering from a lot of stress, but I can feel that counseling can help the person who is feeling from anxiety or any negativity. So I am very much thankful to my college, and especially Srimati ma'am. She is a very good counselor, and I am very much benefited from her. And so I want to share my feelings. Thank you to my college and especially my uh, respected Srimati ma'am.
Thank
Ma'am,
you.
Pratibha Sarkar, she is a student of ours. She says that she is suffering from false memories and it sometimes becomes so hard that she loses the power to distinguish between real events and hallucinations.
Okay, if these are hallucinations, she knows that these were the hallucinations, and if it is going on for a long period, then I would suggest she might try to seek professional help. And false memories are there when we sometimes false memories are there when we um, we indulge ourselves in fantasies and daydreaming. So why would I fantasize so much? Try to find out the answer of the question why, and possibly it will give you some direction. Why would I like to daydream so much? Two things are there. One, when we try to escape from the reality, which is sometimes hard for me, we indulge ourselves in daydreaming, and sometimes we get bored in our lives, then also we do this. So what is the actual cause here? So try to find out the answer, and try to find out if the reality is harsh, why is it so harsh? What can I do? How can I contribute to improve the situation? These questions, these answers will eventually show the person direction uh, to which he needs to.
Ankita Datta, she asks that is maladaptive daydreaming harmful for us?
Is maladaptive
Daydreaming. Daydreaming.
daydreaming? Yes, definitely, it is harmful for us. Definitely. We should always try to inculcate or cultivate healthy habits in us. If that we can do from a young age, then actually it helps us a lot in our future lives. We know we actually have ideas. Sometimes we actually have a very clear idea about what is healthy and what is unhealthy for me, what is unhealthy for my well-being. Then if we can actually stick to the more healthy habits, then eventually it will help us in future to have a healthy mind in a healthy body.
Mumtaz Khatun, her question is, how does she know that she needs counseling?
If she finds out that she is feeling overwhelmed, she is not being able to cope up with the situation on her own, she is not being able to solve the situation on her, first she should try to solve the situation on her own. If she eventually finds out that no, the things are actually going on and on and on, she is not being able to, and ultimately she is feeling stressed out, she is feeling exhausted, she is feeling lethargic, she is all the time she is feeling to have low mood, sleepy, exhausted, burnout. So these feelings, these signals, these emotions will tell her eventually that, these are the indications that she should go to a counselor.
uh, Komalkali Dash, she asks that she has some anger issues. She can't control her anger. Sometimes she is crying about it, and so on and so forth. So, what does he do? What does she do in this respect?
Uh, Anger issues means possibly anger. The source may be either heredity. It might come from either it can be genetic or it can be environmental. So she needs to find out whether it is genetic, it runs in the family, or it is environmental, or a combination of both. If combination of both, she needs to focus on the environmental factors, environmental issues, and what she can do about it. If possible, she will change. If not possible, she will have to go develop healthy coping mechanisms within herself to cope up with the situation. If she is feeling frustrated for something, if she is feeling like her demands or expectations are not being met, are not being fulfilled for a long period, she is staying in a frustrated mood for a long period, then it will give rise to aggression. If she feels that she is feeling frustrated, something should be done about those frustrations. Either we need to change the environment, and if it is not possible, can change the environment, we'll have to change ourselves. We'll have to work on our own feelings, emotions, thought processes. Thought processes are very important. We'll have to work on our thought processes.
Shonchita Kundu has one question. She asks what to do when someone can't share her feelings for some reason, and but she seems to have some fear in her mind something bad might happen to her.
If she cannot share her feelings to someone, she can at least write it down on a page, in a journal. Afterwards, she might actually tear the page off, and then can. But while writing down the emotions get an outlet. When we keep repressed emotions for a long period in our mind, it eventually creates several kinds of emotional disturbances in our mind. So it is we always tell share, either through talking or through writing or through painting. You need to give an outlet. There is no other option. You need to give an outlet. So, but
Orpita, yes, please continue, ma'am.
yes, by venting out the repressed emotions, we will feel much better, we'll feel relieved. Counselors actually feel relieved after the sessions. They start to feel much better than before. This is the secret. Sharing actually helps us a lot.
Orpita
Yes.
Bishrash, she asks that actually she wants to know how to control emotions on every small things.
Uh, the answer is our mind is it is like a container. It can hold up to this amount of emotions and not beyond that. When we go on, like what I said in the previous question only, when we hold a lot of emotions uh, in our mind, more than what my the container of my mind can hold, then eventually it will spill over, and we won't be able to have control over our emotions. We will get triggered, we will feel disturbed even with smallest provocations. So it is better to give an outlet and to keep that only that amount of emotions in our mind which my mind can actually hold. Otherwise, we will start feeling those overwhelming or we will start to feel more and more disturbed, emotionally disturbed with small and small provocations.
Dear participants, do you have any more questions to ask to Bishwas ma'am?
Shormishtade, I think we have this last question coming from Srishti Bhomik. We can take the last question from Srishti.
Yes, yes. Ma'am, Srishti is asking, is there a way to snap out of a breakdown?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. We can do that by having, like, when we actually go on introspecting, go on self-observing ourselves on a regular basis, we can actually prevent that, we can actually come out of that, we can actually avoid that. It is very much possible. It is very much possible. Counseling gives us that inner power to come out of the breakdown, to actually to everything. If we are actually we have broken down, we will be able to come out of it. If it is yet to happen, then we will be able to avoid it, and we will feel that power within to face the situation in a more balanced way.
I think, Mohua, we have come to the end of questionnaire. So I hand the microphone over to Mohua, Srimati Mohua Roy, for further proceedings of the seminar. Mohua.
Thank you, Shormishtadi. Thank you so much. I think, last question from Hoymanti Ghosh. I'll just read it out for Dr. Bishash. This is the last question, girls, for today's session. And it says that Hoymanti feels that most of the people around her is very judgmental, which makes it very difficult for her to express herself. So how can she prevent this? This is her question.
Okay, we cannot make our other people non-judgmental. That is not possible. What we can do is, whom would we select to express our feelings to? That will actually make a lot of difference in my life. There should be, we actually, I would like to suggest that should be actually one or two persons in my life whom I will be able to trust, whom I will be able to confide in, and whom I will be able to express my feelings without any hesitation. So when people are judgmental, um, um, we can say that no one is perfect in this world. No one is perfect in this world. There are imperfections. No one is flawless. So the person with his or her imperfections, giving judgments, the judgment can get influenced by his or her imperfection. So how much importance would I give to that kind of judgment? That we should need to look into. So it is we need to think this way, that people are not flawless, they are giving judgments, and I should not pay that amount of attention to his or her judgment. So deep inside we know what is right and what is wrong. So we would work, if we can work on that, my own judgment, my own decision, my own thoughts, my own discriminations, then that will eventually show me a way.
Thank you, Shormishtadi, for conducting the question answer session so well. It was a really spontaneous one, and the questions that came in were really wonderful questions. And I would also like to thank Megha. Megha, thanks a lot for your very positive feedback for the cell and, of course, Dr. Bishash. And, your feedback, I feel, encourages us, motivates us all the more to carry on this work incessantly for the, well-being of our students. So thank you, Megha. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your experience. I would now like to, hand over the platform to Dr. Nivedita Di, our senior convener of the Psychological Counseling Cell and head of the Department of Philosophy. Nivedita Di, I humbly request you for the vote of thanks. Nivedita di, kindly unmute yourself. Nivedita di, kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mohua. Thank you so much. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this unique awareness program on behalf of the Psychological Counseling Cell at Brabourne College. At the outset, I'd like to extend my hearty gratitude to our respected principal, Madam Professor Shivli Sharkar, our principal madam, without whose active advice and guidance this program would not be organized. My heartfelt thanks to Madam Principal. I would like to thank Dr. Srimati Biswas, our esteemed speaker, a distinguished psychologist, serving Lady Brabourne College since 2011 and helped number of students, teachers, and other staff to cope up with the varieties of mental problems they face with the stressful modern life. Even in the crucial situation of COVID-19 pandemic, Srimati Madam continued her work on online mode. Thanks a lot, Dr. Bishas, for all that you have been doing for our college, especially our beloved students. I also like to thank all the participants, my dear colleagues, and our beloved students, whose awareness is the aim of today's program. Last but not least, I would like to thank all who are working hard behind the platform and actualized the success of the program. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Nivedita ji. Thank you, Srimati. And that with this, we come to the end of our program today. So we can all leave. And once again, students, if you feel you need our help, please go through our college website. You will find all the details, where to contact and whom and everything. All details are there. So you just need to reach out to us. So thanks once again for participating. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
শ্রীমতী, অনেকদিন পর তোমাকে দেখতে পেয়ে খুব ভালো লাগলো।